You had just finished bragging to your mom about making 10 million a year. And the very next second, your phone gets a text saying 10 million was deposited. Right after that, you bragged about buying a 3 million yuan G-Wagon. And suddenly, your pocket feels incredibly heavy. A heavy premium feeling Mercedes car key is right there, sitting smack in the palm of your hand. But just 3 minutes ago, you only had 356 yuan and 50 cents to your name. You were staring at a half-eaten bowl of instant noodles, breaking into a cold sweat. You never in a million years thought that you'd actually awaken the brag to reality system. As long as someone out there believes your wild bragging and their belief level hits over 50%, those outrageous brags will turn into reality right on the spot. You were just about to come clean, but then you heard your mom ask, her voice all timid, if you were strapped for cash. When she even offered to send you her 50,000 in retirement savings, your emotional defenses just instantly crumbled. Your nose stung with unshed tears. And before you could stop yourself, the words just blurted out. Mom, who do you think I am? I'm a big boss making 10 million a year. I already bought a Benz ages ago. And not just any regular Benz. It's a G-Wagon. A Mercedes G63. Cost me nearly 3 million off the lot. You didn't even know what on earth you were rambling about. But a loud scream of joy erupted from the other end of the line. Immediately after, your mom shifted gears. Her tone became absolutely undeniable. Son, you absolutely have to come home for the new year this year. That little brat, your sister Shirai, says she's working a winter job and isn't coming back. If you don't come home either, then there's no point in even celebrating. And with that, she hung up the phone. You were panting heavily, however awesome it felt to brag just a second ago. That's exactly how badly you wanted to disappear right now. A G-Wagon, where the heck were you supposed to steal one of those? You grabbed your hair in panic, burying your face into the pillow and groaning, oh God, why did you have to give me such a big bragging mouth? But right at that moment, a massive buzz rang out in your head, detected extremely intense bragging behavior from the host. Brag to reality system binding successful. You bolted upright, your eyes practically bugging out of your head. Before you could even process what was happening, the system prompts started firing off like a machine gun. Backtracking detection in progress detected a brag made by the host. It's 10 million a year. Judgment result. Parents are completely convinced. Realizing now, congratulations to the host. You have received a cash reward of 10 million yuan. Ding. Your phone screen instantly lit up. A bank notification popped up on the screen. China Construction Bank. Your savings account ending in 9527 has received a deposit of 10 million yuan. Current balance 10,356 yuan 50 cents. 10 million. It was really 10 million. You viciously pinched your own thigh. A sharp pain shot through your leg. However, that wasn't the end of it. Detected a recent brag made by the host. Bought a Mercedes G63. Judgment result. Parents are completely convinced. Realizing now, congratulations to the host. You have received one Mercedes-Benz AMG G63. Vehicle documentation and keys have been issued to the host's pocket. Your pocket suddenly dropped with a heavy weight. You reached in and felt around. A heavy, premium-feeling Mercedes car keys suddenly appeared right in the palm of your hand. Just a second ago, you were ready to jump off a building over a couple $100 for rent. And now you've got a luxury car and a fat bank account. Gripping the car key tightly, you realize as long as someone believes the lies you make up, it actually becomes real. As long as you've got the balls for it, even the whole world could be yours. Your heart is pounding like crazy. You grab your jacket, ready to rush downstairs and check out your new G-Wagon. But right then, your phone buzzes with a WeChat notification. You swipe open the screen. Message pops up from a college group chat that's been dead for ages. The class rep, Wang Kai, tagged everyone. Hey guys, let's get together at 3 on the Bund this Saturday night. It's on me, so everyone better show up. That place costs thousands per person. Instantly, a bunch of classmates started flattering him in the chat. You look at the messages and let out a cold smirk. In the past, you definitely would have avoided this like the plague. But now, feeling the G-Wagon key in your hand, you're full of confidence. You were about to just swipe away the notification when your thumb slips and suddenly an incredibly awkward system prompt pops up in the chat. You patted Wang Kai's butt. The chat instantly goes dead silent. A second later, Wong Kai sends a sarcastic message, asking if delivering food has made you too busy and arrogant to talk to your old classmates. Other classmates immediately join in on the mockery, saying you don't even own a car and never even post photos of a steering wheel on social media. Calmly, you type back saying you missed the messages because you were busy looking at cars. Well, that really set the chat on fire. Someone joked about whether you were shopping for a new electric scooter for your deliveries. You originally just wanted to politely decline the invite, but Wong Kai just wouldn't let it go. He even brought up the campus beauty, Lin Wan, and offered to pay for your cab fare just to humiliate you. Faced with the overwhelming cheers from the group, your eyes turn cold. Since this idiot is practically begging for a slap in the face, why not play along? You type out a direct reply, "I'll be there." To your surprise, Wong Kai replies instantly, moving the gathering to just 2 hours from now and warning you to dress decently. Locking your phone, you walk over to the mirror and realize you really do look pretty shabby. You're definitely missing a blindingly flashy luxury watch. Rummaging through your drawers, you dig out a fake Patek Philippe you bought 2 years ago for a mere $200. Looking at the mirror, you yell out loud, claiming this is a limited edition piece you bought at an auction. But the watch on your wrist doesn't change at all. Suddenly, the system's cold mechanical voice echoes in your head. To make a lie come true, someone else must be present to hear it. And their belief level has to be over 50%. Also, violating the laws of life and death or altering biological bodies is strictly forbidden. You look at yourself wearing that crappy fake watch and let out a helpless sigh. Looks like abusing the system behind closed doors is impossible. However, as you raise your hand, you notice that in the dim lighting, the Tiffany blue dial of the fake watch actually gives off a surprisingly premium vibe. As long as nobody looks too closely, it really does pass for a top-tier luxury watch. You chuckle at yourself and fasten the watch tight. If you're going out there to show off, showing up without a watch just wouldn't look right. Worst case scenario, you'll just talk your way through it. When you get there, you push the door open and head out, hitting the button on the key fob. The headlights of the Mercedes G63 flash brightly under the streetlights, a fierce beast opening its eyes and that engine roar. Damn, it is absolute music to your ears. In the blink of an eye, you've arrived at 3 on the Bund. Your old classmates are gathered right at the hotel entrance. The guys are all dressed to the nines in suits, and the girls are going all out to outshine each other. And right in the center of the crowd is Wong Kai, decked out in full Armani with a Rolex flashing on his wrist. His face was flushed with excitement as he bragged about raking in a casual 2 or 3 million this year. Just then, the deep, throaty roar of an engine echoed from down the street, getting louder and louder. Everyone turned to look only to see a matte black G63 rolling in like an absolute tank. It pulled up aggressively and parked right at the main entrance of the hotel. The guys stared in pure envy, eyes totally lit up while the girls frantically touched up their makeup, getting ready to make a move. Even Wong Kai couldn't hide a flash of jealousy, muttering bitterly about which show-off had just arrived. The door swung open and a young guy in a plain old hoodie stepped out of the driver's seat. When he turned around, the entire crowd went dead silent. Wong Kai's eyes practically popped out of his skull. The guy they were just mocking for being too broke to even afford a cab ride had just rolled up in a G-Wagon. But a second later, Wong Kai snapped out of it. A smug, knowing smirk spread across his face as he marched right over and slapped the hood of the car. "Wow, you really went completely all out for this reunion, huh?" he mocked. "What does a rental like this cost? 5 or 6,000 a day?" The realization hit the crowd instantly. Their shock quickly morphed into intense disgust. They started laughing, mocking you for being pathetic enough to fake it. You just stood there watching them switch up on you. Calmly, you hit the lock button on the remote, tossing the keys in your hand. You shot back. "What's the matter, class representative? You think you're the only one who can actually afford a car and the rest of us just have to rent?" Wong Kai's face flushed with anger. His eyes darted down to your wrist. And suddenly, like he had just struck gold, he yelled out, "Yo, everyone, look at this. A Patek Philippe Nautilus. And it's the Tiffany Blue Limited Edition, too." Wong Kai barked out a harsh laugh. "The real deal goes for 40 million on the market. It's globally limited. You literally can't even buy it. Let me guess, that piece of junk cost you 9.99 with free shipping." You just glanced around the crowd and stated firmly, "This is the exact same piece that was sold at the Phillips auction house. The 5711 Tiffany Blue. As for whether it's real or fake, I really don't expect people like you to know the difference." The crowd instantly erupted into whispers. Right at that moment, the sharp ding of the system notification echoed in your mind. You listened as the system calculated the belief rates. Xiao Chang 1%. Lei 3% and an average belief rate of 18% among the rest of the class. A slight smirk crept onto your face. The command was issued. The cheap knockoff Patek Philippe was physically transforming into the authentic Tiffany Blue limited edition Nautilus 5711. The moment the voice faded, you felt a sudden heavy weight on your wrist. The cheap steel band instantly became as smooth as silk. The blue dial caught the light, radiating an intoxicating, ultra-luxurious glow. But Wang Kai was completely oblivious to all of this. He was laughing so hard there were tears in his eyes. Oh man, Lu Sha, you're seriously claiming that's real? I dare you to take it off and let me get a good look at it. He was dead certain that the moment he held it, he'd expose your pathetic lie in seconds. But to his surprise, you just raised an eyebrow. Without a second thought, you casually unclasped the band and tossed the 40 million watch straight at him. Here, knock yourself out. Wang Kai scrambled to catch it, thinking to himself, let's see how you talk your way out of this one, you loser. But the second he flipped the watch over and his eyes locked onto the caseback. It was like he'd been struck by lightning. He froze, completely paralyzed on the spot, staring right at that incredibly precise micro-engraved gold rotor and the flawless, deeply stamped hallmarks. That heavy premium feel made his heart pound. No, that's impossible. Cold sweat broke out on Wang Kai's forehead, his voice trembling. Is this a high-end replica? You, on the other hand, just adjusted your collar, looking a bit impatient. Have you seen enough? Don't break it. The entire crowd was dead silent. Wang Kai's jaw dropped, unable to utter a single word for a long time. Because no matter how you looked at it, this watch was completely real. Xiao Chang asked cautiously. Kai, bro, why so quiet? Wang Kai gritted his teeth, desperately trying to save face. Poof. No matter how real it looks, it's still a fake. I should just go get one, too. You simply took the watch back and strapped it onto your wrist, looking perfectly sincere. Kai, bro, if you really like it that much, I'll ask around for you later. Look, we're just here to catch up. Let's not ruin the mood over material things. Wang Kai gave an awkward chuckle, ready to use this out and slip into the hotel. Right at that moment, a car with consulate license plates, Rolls-Royce Phantom, slowly pulled up. A middle-aged foreigner in a perfectly tailored suit stepped out. His gaze casually swept over your wrist, and suddenly his eyes went wide as saucers. He dashed right up to you, gasping in broken Chinese. Oh my god, is that the Tiffany Blue Nautilus serial number 001? I am the Vice President of Patek Philippe for the Greater China region. Sir, would you do me the honor of letting me admire it? Your heart skipped a beat. Did the system actually arrange an appraisal expert, too? The classmates immediately broke out in chatter. Wang Kai was glaring daggers at the foreigner, screaming frantically in his head. Expose him. Tell everyone it's just a cheap knockoff from a street stall. You were also panicking big time. What if this VP had sharp eyes and realized this watch just appeared out of thin air? But just as you were silently praying, the man named Smith had already whipped out a professional jeweler's loupe, dropping to one knee in front of you. His breathing was heavy and his hands were actually trembling. Oh my god, he suddenly lifted his head up. His eyes were blazing with pure fanaticism. Sir, if I am not mistaken, this isn't just any 5711. It's the legendary custom piece, the Emperor of Movements, serial number 001, with its own unique hallmark. As soon as those words dropped, the entire place went dead silent. The smirk on Wang Kai's face completely froze. The Emperor of Movements, serial number 001. The very next second, Wang Kai burst into a sharp, mocking laughter. Ha ha, Lu Sha. Wow, you've really outdone yourself. You even hired an extra. And a foreign old man at that. Xiao Chang immediately joined in on the jeering. Yeah, exactly. There's no way it's this coincidental. What did you pay him $200 for the day? With Wang Kai shouting like that, the classmates who had just been stunned started to doubt it all over again. After all, this coincidence was way too scripted. But to everyone's surprise, the foreigner slowly stood up, straightened his suit, and completely ignored Wang Kai. Instead, he hands you his business card with both hands. Mr. Liu, it is an absolute honor. I was wondering if I could get a picture with you in this unparalleled masterpiece. My colleagues will never believe this. Wang Kai is completely ignored. His blood boils. He takes a few strides right up to Smith's face. Hey, cut the act, old man. How much is he paying you? I'll double it. Tell the truth right now. Just then, Zhang Wei, who has been glued to his phone in the crowd, suddenly gasps, "Shut up, guys. It really is Mr. Smith." He holds up his phone. The screen shows a picture of Smith on an English financial news article. I just saw his exclusive interview the other day. Even the pattern on his tie matches. This revelation hits like a ton of bricks. Wang Kai's smile completely freezes on his face. Zhang Wei rubs salt in the wound. And look at the license plate on this Rolls-Royce. It's a consulate plate. You think you can just rent something like that? Wang Kai feels the world spinning around him, but Smith has already pulled out his phone and politely hands it to him. "Excuse me, sir. Could I trouble you to take a photo of me and Mr. Liu?" Wang Kai stares at the phone in front of him, completely paralyzed, not knowing whether to take it or not. You, on the other hand, casually adjust your cuffs and stand obligingly next to Smith. Holding the phone, Wang Kai grits his teeth for one last desperate struggle. "Are you sure you aren't mistaken? Could this watch be a high-quality knockoff?" Hearing this, a fire instantly ignites in Smith's blue eyes. His voice goes dead serious. "Sir, I have worked at Patek Philippe for 30 years. I have handled over 50,000 luxury watches. You are not only insulting Mr. Liu's taste, you are insulting my entire professional career." The crowd erupts and gasps. Wang Kai really messed with the wrong guy this time. After his stern lecture, Smith puts his gentle smile back on and instructs the trembling Wang Kai, who can barely hold the phone. "Hold it steady. Stop shaking. Make sure the framing is centered. Thank you." Wang Kai feels like his lungs are going to explode from rage, but all he can do is swallow his pride and press the shutter like some lowly waiter. With the photo taken, Smith takes his phone back, looking thoroughly satisfied. He enthusiastically invites you, "Mr. Liu. We are hosting a private collector's dinner tonight. Would you do us the honor of attending?" Everyone in the crowd gasps. That is an extremely exclusive circle. Wang Kai's eyes are bloodshot with pure jealousy. However, you just wave it off. "I'll pass. I have a get-together with my old classmates tonight. I don't want to overcomplicate things." You actually turned him down. Smith looks utterly disappointed, but quickly adds, "Then regarding the maintenance of this watch, I can arrange for a specialist to come directly to you." Your heart skips a beat. Maintenance? What if they open it up and realize it's a fake? Without skipping a beat, you keep a straight face. And casually say, "Don't bother. A watch is just for fun. Really, if it breaks, I'll just buy a new one." The moment those words dropped, the entire place went dead silent. "If it breaks, I'll just buy another one." Xiao Chang's jaw practically hit the floor. That was 40 million. Even Smith was blown away by your absolute bold move. The admiration in his eyes growing even stronger. He hurriedly pulled out his phone. "Then please, by all means, allow me to get your contact info." Goal achieved. Smith turned to leave, but as he walked past Wang Kai, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. He pointed at the Rolex on Wang Kai's wrist, his brow furrowing slightly. "The font on the date window of your watch seems a bit crooked. It doesn't look like original factory work." Panicking, Wang Kai immediately hid his hand behind his back. Stuttering, he replied, "This is an older model. I dropped it once." Smith just shrugged, not bothering to argue. He turned around, got into his car, and shut the door. The hotel entrance instantly erupted into conversation. Good lord, he was acting so high and mighty just now, but it turns out he's wearing a fake. Man, I'm getting second-hand embarrassment. Are we even still eating? Seeing this, you waved your hand dismissively and took the lead, walking right into the hotel. Let's go. Brother Kai is hosting us so generously. Everyone, eat to your heart's content tonight. Inside the elevator, Xiao Chang's face was plastered with a sickeningly sweet smile. Brother Xia, after you, please watch your step. Who could have imagined? The poor kid who was being mocked by the whole class just a second ago had suddenly turned into a mysterious big shot that the vice president of Patek Philippe was begging for a photo with. Xiao Chang's attitude did an instant 180-degree turn, flattering you and desperately trying to build a connection. Brother Xia, back in sophomore year when I lost my living expenses, you didn't say a word and treated me to the cafeteria for a whole week. You raised an eyebrow. Actually, you knew exactly what happened. The one who treated him back then was clearly the guy from the dorm next door. Back then, you couldn't even afford instant noodles. Where would you get the spare cash to take care of someone else? But honestly, calling him out right now was just pointless. A faint knowing smile played on your lips. Oh, really? I don't really remember trivial things like that. But Xiao Chang grabbed onto this tightly, turning around and shouting to everyone else. Great men forget easily. To Brother Sha, this is just a minor detail. But to me, it was a life-saving grace. At this, the crowd immediately chimed in. They started flattering you like crazy. Over in the corner, Wang Kai's face was terrifyingly dark. He had nowhere to hide his left hand wearing that fake Rolex, feeling a burning heat on his wrist. In the end, all he could do was silently shove it deep into his pants pocket. Right after that, the group entered the luxurious private room. The seat of honor, which originally belonged to Wang Kai, was now being hastily pulled out by Xiao Chang, who enthusiastically ushered you over. Brother Sha, this seat has the absolute best view. You sit right here. You didn't hold back at all and sat down straight away. Wang Kai's face twitched violently at the sight. Ultimately, he could only grip his teeth and walk away with his tail between his legs, sitting in the server's seat right by the door. Just as you settled in, a sudden wave of sweet perfume hit your face. Lily, acting all delicate and whiny, complained that the AC in the room was too cold, and with a twist of her hips, squeezed right into the empty seat on your left. She even purposely pulled her chair closer, half her body practically pressing against your arm. Boss Sha, this watch is absolutely gorgeous. It must feel amazing to touch, right? Her fingertips lightly brushed across the back of your hand. Her eyes were practically dripping with affection. You instantly broke out in full-body goosebumps. You immediately grabbed your teacup, using a sip of water as an excuse to pull away, smoothly shifting your wrist to the other side. It's all right, just a steel watch, not even as light as a digital one. Your tone was completely flat. But Lily just giggled uncontrollably, pressing further. Boss Sha, where are you making your fortune these days? You should take us along for the ride. As soon as she said that, the private room went dead silent. Everyone's ears immediately perked up. Even Wang Kai in the corner was staring you down, practically holding his breath, just waiting for a chance to pick you apart. You set down your teacup, but your heart suddenly skipped a beat. You were just a food delivery guy after all. But instead of panicking, your fingers gently tapped the table. Your expression was completely calm. This confident aura actually made Wang Kai, who was waiting for a joke, feel even more intimidated. You leaned back in your chair. Your tone was breezy and casual. Currently, I mostly handle cross-regional, high-frequency lifestyle, resource distribution, and real-time delivery operations. The crowd was completely stunned. They just stared at each other in confusion for a moment. Xiao Chang asked tentatively. So, you do logistics? You shook your head, flashing a mysterious knowing smile. Logistics is just the most basic level. To be precise, it's providing big data algorithm-based full-scenario transit capacity solutions. I manage a mobile operations team of several hundred people. Every day we handle the closed-loop allocation between food and beverage giants, supermarkets, and end users. Several sharp gasps echoed through the room. Several hundred people, a classmate gasped. Then your monthly cash flow must be insane. You calmly took a sip of tea and casually replied, I don't really pay attention to the cash flow, but right now we do have a deep strategic partnership with major platforms. This statement was half true, half false. Delivering food was a partnership technically, and the small daily delivery fees were scattered cash flow, but your classmates were imagining something entirely different. Xiao Chang slapped his thigh and yelled, that is totally badass. Lily's eyes were literally sparkling and she looked like she wanted to stick close to you. But Wang Kai in the corner still wasn't convinced. He suddenly interrupted. Company with hundreds of people, the office space must be pretty massive, right? You should take us to tour your company tomorrow. Everyone instantly turned their eyes to you. You cursed internally. Tour the workplace? Take you to the dispatch station to watch delivery guys have a morning meeting. But on the outside, you didn't panic at all. Instead, you frowned slightly, acting annoyed by the intrusion. A tour is out of the question. You paused, shooting Wang Kai an icy glare. The company is in the critical stage of our third round of funding. A lot of our core data involves confidential trade secrets. It's really not appropriate for outsiders to just walk in. Plus, I rarely go to the office anyway. Management relies on the system. I usually just handle the final signatures. Xiao Chang quickly glared at Wang Kai. Come on, Kai. He's running a high-tech unicorn startup. It's not like that hardware factory of yours where anyone can just wander in. Wang Kai was instantly choked up, his face turning green. He angrily gulped down his hot water, only to burn his mouth and start fiercely sucking in cold air. Right at that moment, a crisp chime suddenly echoed in your mind. Ding! Detecting that the host is bragging. Initiating belief rate scan current belief levels. Xiao Chang 95%. Lili 98%. Wang Kai 60%. Average belief rate among the remaining classmates 88%. 1 second you were just bragging about owning a tech company and the very next the system's voice exploded in your head. Congratulations host, the claim of owning a high-end tech company has been successfully validated immediately after the reward materialized right into reality, located right in the heart of Shanghai, complete with its own independent office building, and you now held 100% of the shares. It was all actually yours. Your grip on the teacup tightened just a little. Your heart was pounding like crazy. It actually worked. While you were busy fighting back a massive grin, your former classmate Xiao Chang had already stood up, glass in hand. This first glass absolutely has to go to our city transit architect. To Brother Xia, to Boss Lu. In an instant, the entire room got to their feet. Every glass was raised high in the air. Even Wang Kai, the guy who actually organized this whole reunion, had to awkwardly swallow his pride and stand up with them. And you? You just sat there perfectly calm, casually raising your glass with one hand. You took a small, polite sip, but inside you were absolutely losing your mind with joy. But right at that moment, a female classmate named Lili took advantage of the toast and shamelessly pressed her thigh right against yours under the table, giving you a sultry look. She whispered, Brother Xia, since your company's funding is going so incredibly well, why don't we switch venues and keep the party going later? The hint couldn't have been any more obvious. However, you just smoothly pulled your leg back without a change in expression, raising your wrist to glance at your watch. You let out a deliberate heavy sigh. I'll have to pass on the after-party. This Patek Philippe worth tens of millions is just way too high maintenance. I need to head back and put it in the watch winder right away. Can't risk letting it stop. That smooth, low-key flex completely shut down Lili's advances. The seductive smile on her face instantly froze. The rest of the dinner turned entirely into your own personal stage. You pointed at the chubby guy who was aggressively tearing into a crab. Hey Mouse, remember sophomore year when you got dumped, hugged that crooked tree on campus, crying your eyes out and swearing you were going to marry it? The whole room erupted in laughter. Then you glanced over at the guy wearing glasses. This big head dude ate nothing but plain buns with cheap chili sauce for a straight month just to buy a gaming skin and ended up putting himself right in the hospital. You exposed their most embarrassing memories in such a relaxed, joking tone that not only was no one offended, but the vibe in the room became incredibly warm and nostalgic. But just as the energy in the private room hit its peak, a cool, melodic voice suddenly cut through the noise. Lu Xia, you're way too modest. Instantly, the entire room went dead silent. It was Lin Wan, the undisputed beauty of your department back in college. Wearing an elegant off-the-shoulder gown, she gracefully walked right up to your side. Her eyes subtly drifted over the watch on your wrist. How come I never noticed you were such a smooth talker back then? Before you could even reply, she actually pulled out her phone and brought up her QR code. Mind if we add each other on WeChat? I've actually been wanting to learn more about the logistics industry recently. I might need your expert guidance from now on. The whole room was in absolute shock. You have to understand, the guys who chased her over those 4 years of college could form a line wrapping around the entire track field. And yet here she was actively asking for your WeChat. Lili right next to you is overwhelmed by a massive sense of crisis, clutching your sleeve for dear life. Brother Xia, you've got to add me, too. That single sentence completely ignites the whole room. Everyone whips out their phones, frantically climbing over each other as they rush towards you. Brother Xia, add me. I do high-end pet grooming. If you ever get a Tibetan Mastiff or even a tiger, I've got it covered. Brother Xia, please accept my friend request. I'm an expert in metaphysics. I see a massive aura of success radiating from you. Please let me send you a daily fortune calendar totally free of charge. Even the classmates from next door are pushing their way into the crowd. Brother Xia, I'm a private fitness coach. Do you need one by any chance? Watching people you've only met once, like those classmates from next door, squeeze their way in, you're left not knowing whether to laugh or cry at this absurd scene. Your phone's notification sounds are going off like crazy. However, just as you're completely surrounded by all these beautiful girls, the chopsticks in Wong Kai's hands across the table snapped forcefully right in half. He is so consumed by jealousy that his face looks completely twisted. Finally, with a dark and gloomy expression, he speaks up, shattering everyone's wild excitement. Lu Sha, recently, there was this guy wearing a mask claiming a massive prize at the lottery center. Could that happen to be you? The moment those words leave his mouth, every single person turns to look at you. You slowly put down your chopsticks, look at Wong Kai's bitter, twisted face, and just burst out laughing. Man, I really wish I had won the lottery. You lean back in your chair, throw your hands up with a helpless look, and start spouting absolute nonsense with a totally straight face. Actually, it's mostly because I ran into a great mentor, a mysterious big boss who really appreciates my talents. He told me I have extraordinary potential, that I'm a one-in-a-million business prodigy. No matter what I ask for, he supports me unconditionally, just like this company. I initially just suggested investing in it, but he went ahead and bought the entire thing, giving me full control to run it. Everyone in the room is absolutely dumbfounded. There's actually a billionaire out there throwing cash around like that. Xiao Chang's eyes widen as big as saucers and he slaps his thigh hard. I freaking knew it. Brother Sha, you are the chosen one to have a big shot trust you completely like that. It just proves you were born with main character energy. Come on, everyone. To Brother Sha's absolute god-tier charisma. Cheers. In a split second, the dinner table is completely filled with a mix of awe and jealous chatter. That's not just a mentor. He's basically treating Brother Sha like his own biological son. Hey, Brother Sha, do you think my potential is extraordinary, too? Do you think you can get the big boss to take a look at me? Hearing this, Wong Kai almost coughs up blood on the spot. He originally wanted to label you as just some tacky new money guy, but who would have thought it would just become a stepping stone for you to show off even more? You stand up, raise your glass high, and with just a few words, push the atmosphere to its absolute peak. Honestly, guys, you really don't need to hype me up this much. I've been through rock bottom, too. But what I really want to say is if someone like me, Lu Sha, can make it, then every single one of you sitting here is definitely destined for greatness, too. That speech instantly sets the whole room on fire, and thunderous applause breaks out. Even the gorgeous department beauty, Lin Wan, stares at the calm and confident you. Her beautiful eyes were sparkling with awe. A few hours later, everyone was stuffed and happily tipsy. The waiter walked over with the check, heading straight for Wong Kai, who had previously puffed out his chest and promised to treat everyone. Wong Kai's face was flushed red from the alcohol. With a grand wave of his hand, he whipped out a black card. Put it on this. How much is it? The waiter respectfully read out the total. Sir, with the service charge included, your total comes to 142,800 yuan. Xiao Chang violently spat out a mouthful of tea. The private room instantly fell dead silent. 140,000, Wong Kai's hand froze right in midair holding the card. He instantly sobered up. How much did you just say? Is your food made of solid gold? The waiter just smiled and explained. Sir, it's primarily those bottles of wine. They're priced at 20,000 yuan each. At that moment, dozens of eyes were locked dead on Wong Kai. He had no choice but to grip his teeth and hand the card over. Just swipe it. But the very next second, the card reader let out a sharp beep. I'm so sorry, sir. Your card has insufficient funds. The whole room gasped, sweating bullets. Wong Kai frantically dug out another card. Swipe this one. But the result, the waiter politely handed the card back once again. My apologies, sir. This card says the bank declined the transaction. The awkwardness in the room hit an absolute peak. Holding two useless pieces of plastic, Wong Kai felt like he was sitting on pins and needles under everyone's staring eyes. Right at that moment, you let out a soft sigh. Hey Kai, if you're a bit tight on cash right now, I can cover it for you. It sounded like you were trying to bail him out. But to Wong Kai's ears, it was more piercing than any mockery. Your words felt like outright humiliation. Wong Kai instantly blew up, his voice cracking as he snapped back. I don't need your help. Who said I'm broke? My cards are just acting up today. If I actually let you pay this bill, how could I ever show my face again? You just shrugged helplessly and kept your mouth shut. But who could have guessed? Wong Kai would get so desperate he'd actually start pulling rank. Go get your manager. I know the guy. My dad and I come here all the time. A few minutes later, a middle-aged man with slicked back hair walked in. Seeing what he thought was his savior, Wong Kai immediately plastered on a familiar smile and rushed over. Manager Lee, long time no see, man. Manager Lee froze for a second, then hesitantly asked. And you are? I'm Mr. Wong's son. Oh, right. Yep, that's me, Wong Kai. Wong Kai nodded frantically, shooting the manager a desperate look as he spoke. I'm just grabbing dinner with my classmates here, but my cards are having some issues. So, about this bill, could you? Manager Lee immediately caught on with a polite smile. He said, well, since you're a regular, I have to show some respect. I'll make an executive decision on this bill. I can give you a 12% discount, and we'll throw in a premium fruit platter on the house. Wong Kai immediately let out a long sigh of relief, a smug smile spreading across his face. His previous embarrassment vanished completely. He turned around, pointed at Manager Lee and showed off to the whole room. See that? When you're out and about, just having money is useless. You've got to have connections. One word from me and I directly saved over $10,000. The surrounding classmates immediately started flattering him, and Lee even called out sweetly. Kai, you're amazing. Connections really do beat cash anytime. Listening to the flattery, Wong Kai felt immensely satisfied. He gave you a sidelong glance, his eyes full of provocation. Lu Sha, did you see that? Some circles, some connections take time to build. How you carry yourself depends on your background. Everyone looked at you wanting to see how you'd respond. You sat in your chair, looking at the triumphant Wong Kai, the corners of your mouth slightly raised. Connections are indeed important. But Kai, this discount of yours is pretty weak. Wong Kai frowned. What's that supposed to mean? 12% off isn't enough for you? If you're so tough, let's see you get the boss to give you a discount. Hearing this, you actually thought for a moment. I am actually quite familiar with the boss of this hotel. If I were here, I bet this meal wouldn't just be free. He'd have to crack open 2 good bottles for me on the house. As soon as you said this, Wong Kai exaggeratedly clutched his stomach and started laughing. Lu Sha, do you even know who the boss is? Zhang Zegang. Boss Zhang, a big shot worth billions. Do you know him pretty well? Even Manager Lee beside him pushed up his glasses, his tone unfriendly. Sir, I've never heard Boss Zhang mention anyone like you. Let's just settle the bill first, shall we? Wong Kai grew even more smug. Hear that, Lu Sha? Even when you're making up stories, make it make sense. Tell us, how exactly do you know Boss Zhang? Could it be that when you were delivering takeout, he just happened to order a bowl of braised chicken and rice? You ignored his mockery and just sighed. Your eyes turning profound. Actually, it wasn't a big deal. About 6 months ago, Boss Zhang ran into a bit of trouble. If it wasn't handled in time, it could have been a huge disaster. I just happened to be passing by and conveniently pointed out a way out for him. Your tone was calm, but it dropped a bombshell in the private room. A way out? Everyone pricked up their ears. You casually added in Boss Zhang's own words. I guess you could say I saved his life. Wong Kai sneered even harder. Keep making things up. Saved his life? Why don't you just say you took a bullet for him? However, this time around, hardly anyone agreed with Wong Kai. Everyone was completely stunned by what you just said. I mean, why would anyone make up a lie that could be exposed so easily? Just then, that glasses-wearing girl who's super into astrology chimed in. I don't think Sha is joking. She analyzed with a dead serious look. Looking at Sha's facial features, he definitely has the destiny of someone who attracts powerful benefactors. Yeah, exactly. Sha's already a boss himself. He doesn't need to brag, right? I believe him, too. Hearing the whispers of the classmates around him, Wong Kai's face turned darker and darker. Meanwhile, you were holding back laughter because the system's voice rang out once again. Ding! Bragging content. You did a huge favor for the food and beverage tycoon, Zhang Zegang. Verification successful. Modifying the logic of reality for you now. You tried so hard to hold back a smile after hearing the system's absolutely absurd explanation. A life-saving favor. How the hell were you even supposed to explain that out loud? Seeing your weird expression, Wong Kai thought you had run out of lies. He instantly perked up, pointing right at you. He yelled to Manager Lee. Manager Lee, letting a pathological liar like him stay here completely ruins the classy vibe of 3 on the bund. Call security and kick him out. Manager Lee was also completely out of patience. Sir, if you keep talking nonsense, I will have no choice but to have security escort you out. You forced down the urge to roll your eyes and just pulled out your phone. You pulled up Zhang Zhegong's number and put it on speaker. Beep. The private dining room went dead silent. Wang Kai crossed his arms with a cold sneer, waiting for the good show of you getting exposed. Click. The call went through. A slightly tired male voice came through the speaker. Hello. Who's this? The moment Manager Lee heard that voice, he instinctively leaned in closer to you. He knew that voice way too well. It really was Mr. Zhang. You spoke into the phone, keeping your tone completely casual. It's me, Lu Sha. There was a 2-second silence on the other end of the line. Then the voice suddenly exploded with pure excitement. Whoa, my man Lu, is it really you? Oh my god. I left in such a hurry last time that I forgot to give you my number. I've been kicking myself trying to figure out how to repay you. The whole room gasped in shock. Not only did they actually know each other, but Zhang was actually trying to repay a favor. Wang Kai's jaw practically hit the floor. You replied, keeping it incredibly chill. Ah, it's nothing major. I'm just grabbing a bite at your place. 3 on the bund. And your manager here is insisting that I'm not worthy of knowing you. He's even threatening to call security on me. What? The voice on the phone erupted in instant fury. Which blind fool said that? Hold tight, my friend, it's a recording. He hired an actor, but I'm coming over right now. The call disconnected. Wang Kai's face turned deathly pale. He mumbled to himself in denial. Manager Lee was already too terrified to even pay him any attention. He pulled out a handkerchief, wiping his sweat frantically, his legs shaking uncontrollably. He knew he'd seriously messed with the wrong guy this time. Less than 10 minutes later, the door to the private room was pushed open violently. A slightly chubby middle-aged man rushed in, panting heavily. It was Zhang Zhegong. Manager Lee trembled all over in fear, hurrying forward to greet him. Mr. Zhang. Get out of my way. Zhang Zhegong shoved him so hard he almost fell over. His eyes quickly swept across the room, and he immediately rushed right up to you, grabbing both of your hands tightly. His face was red with excitement. Brother Lu, it really is you, man. If it weren't for you last time, your big brother here would have lost everything. Zhang Zhegong quickly stopped himself, but the gratitude in his eyes was overflowing. You looked at the enthusiastic, chubby older man in front of you, feeling amused. Mr. Zhang, you're too polite. It was just a small favor, that's all. What? Don't call me Mr. Zhang, call me Big Brother. Zhang Zhegong patted your shoulder heartily. Then he turned around and his expression instantly darkened. He looked at Manager Lee, who was cowering in the corner, his voice as cold as ice. So, it was you saying my brother isn't worthy of knowing me and you wanted to throw him out? Manager Lee's legs gave out and he slumped right onto the floor. Mr. Zhang, I didn't know he was your friend. It was that young Master Wang who said it. He pointed frantically at Wang Kai. Swept by Zhang Zhegong's piercing glare, Wang Kai felt like he'd been plunged into an ice cave. Zhang Zhegong narrowed his eyes. Oh, you're that kid from the Wang family, aren't you? Fine, I'll remember this later on. I'll have a good chat with your dad. Ask him if this is how he raises his son. Wang Kai's face turned deathly pale. If word of this reached his father's ears, he would be in huge trouble. Too lazy to bother with these two anymore. Zhang Zhegong turned back to you and waved his big hand. Brother Lu, this meal is on me today. Totally free. From now on, whenever you visit any of my restaurants, everything is on the house. He glanced at the leftover food on the table and frowned. I was thinking of going to the cellar to grab that bottle of 1982 Lafite and drinking with you until we drop. You smiled and waved your hand. Everyone is already stuffed. I appreciate the thought. Really? I have to show my appreciation somehow. Zhang Zhegong's eyes shifted and pointing at everyone in the private room, he roared at Manager Lee. Everyone sitting here today is a friend of my brother Lu. From now on, when they eat at any of my restaurants, give them all a 40% discount. As soon as he said this, the whole room fell dead silent. 40% off? Wang Kai had busted his ass just to beg for a 12% discount. And you just easily scored 40% off for everyone too. Just then, Wang Kai walked over to the cashier counter. He slapped a card onto the counter. Swipe it. I said, it's my treat, so it's my treat. He wanted to see the frustration on your face from being upstaged. However, you just leaned against the pillar playing on your phone. Too lazy to even glance at him. Manager Lee didn't budge. Young Master Wong, you're making this very difficult for me. Difficult? How? Is my money not good enough? The veins on Wong Kai's neck bulged. Manager Lee sighed softly. Young Master Wong, President Zhang instructed us that tonight's bill is waived out of respect for Mr. Liu. This is a favor from our boss to a VIP guest. If you insist on forcing this money on us, it means you're disrespecting Mr. Liu. He paused, shifting his gaze to you. As for this money, even if we had 10 times the courage, we wouldn't dare take it. Wong Kai completely froze on the spot. If he paid, he'd be disrespecting President Zhang. If he didn't pay, he'd look like a broke loser. Either way, he was completely trapped. Xiao Chang quickly pulled him away. Since Brother Xia has such great influence, let's just take advantage of this opportunity. Wong Kai was dragged along, stumbling, rushing out of the revolving doors, completely humiliated. I'm going home. The party dispersed. Your classmates gathered around you, trying to get on your good side. You casually humored them with a few words, and the crowd gradually scattered. Just as you were about to pull out your car keys, the sound of high heels echoed from behind. Liu Xia. You turned around. It was Lin Wan. She was wearing an off-white coat, looking strikingly beautiful in the night. The Lunar New Year is coming up soon. Are you planning to drive back to our hometown for the holidays? You nodded. Yeah, that's the plan. Lin Wan bit her lip, her eyes full of expectation. Could I get a ride with you? I want to save some money if it's not too much trouble for you. It was no secret in college that you and Lin Wan were from the same hometown. While you were thinking it over, a blinding set of headlights suddenly swept across. A BMW slammed on its brakes, stopping sideways right in front of you. The window rolled down, revealing Wong Kai's flushed, drunken face. His eyes were a bit unfocused, slurring his words. Wong Kai slapped the car door. Wan, get in. I'll take you home. My car is comfortable. Lin Wan frowned and took a half step back. Wong Kai, you've had too much to drink. Drunk driving is illegal. I'm not drunk. Wong Kai waved his hand impatiently. I'm wide awake. Let me tell you, I drive steadier with my eyes closed than Liu Xia in his crappy car. Get in. His relentless pestering made the disgust in Lin Wan's eyes almost overflow. No, thank you. Lin Wan's tone was firm. How is it not on the way? The earth is round. Everywhere is on the way. Wong Kai continued pestering her. Did Liu Xia say something to you? Wan, don't let him fool you. Right at that moment, you took a step forward, calmly shielding Lin Wan behind you. You looked down at Wong Kai in the car. I don't know if the earth is round or not, but I do know the holding cells at the traffic police station are definitely square. If you don't get out of here right now, I'll call the cops on you. Boss Zhang actually just gave me the police captain's number. Hearing the name Boss Zhang, Wong Kai instantly sobered up halfway. He shot you a venomous glare. Then glanced at Lin Wan hiding behind you, gritting his teeth and smacking the steering wheel. Fine, Liu Xia, you've got guts. Just you wait. Thanks. Lin Wan looked a bit embarrassed. Sorry for using you as a shield just now. You smiled. Don't worry about it. Get in the car. But you drank quite a bit tonight, too. Aren't you going to get a driver? Lin Wan asked with concern. A driver? Aren't you my driver? You tossed the keys to Lin Wan. Got to save some cash, right? Lin Wan fumbled to catch the keys, completely dumbfounded. Just to save a few dozen bucks. He was actually asking the former college beauty to act as his personal chauffeur. She clenched the keys tightly, just about to throw them right back in your face. But then she remembered how you had just helped her out. Forget it, she thought. Just this once. It won't happen again. But as she looked up at the massive steel vehicle in front of her, she felt a bit intimidated. Such a huge car. It's just a slightly oversized toy. Super easy to drive. You paid no mind to her hesitation and pulled open the passenger door, sliding right inside. Let's go. Drop you off at your place first. She looked at you, already resting with your eyes closed, and a faint smile touched her lips. She quickly walked around to the driver's side. Sitting in the driver's seat of the G63, Lin Wan felt a sudden sense of superiority. Looking down at the traffic below, she sneaked occasional glances at you sitting beside her. You seem to be fast asleep. You're breathing steadily. This massive contrast would be irresistibly attractive to any woman. Lu Sha, Lin Wan called out softly, testing the waters. You let out a lazy hum in response. What's up? Are you lost? No, I'm just a little curious. Lin Wan slowed the car down. The things you said at the dinner table earlier, were they actually true? That Sunlud Tech company, is it really yours? Your heart skipped a beat. The company the system gave you was real, but all that stuff about the business model was completely made up. If she dug too deep into it right now, you'd easily blow your cover. You shifted in your seat, turning your back to Lin Wan. Music, does it really matter if it's true or not? Trade secrets. Knowing too much won't do you any good. That vague answer left Lin Wan feeling quite unsatisfied. Music, so, do your parents know you're suddenly so successful? They must be so thrilled, right? I haven't really given them the details yet. You kept your eyes shut tight, playing dead. I'm planning to surprise them when I go back for the new year. Oh, right. Don't go blabbing about this when you head back to the village. Lin Wan chuckled, wanting to ask you a bit more, like whether or not you had a girlfriend. But you were already letting out a soft snore. She thought you were putting on a good act. A sudden wave of unprecedented frustration washed over Lin Wan, but it only fueled her burning curiosity. The car pulled smoothly into the apartment complex where she rented her place. Here, Lin Wan parked the car. She turned sideways, gazing at you, still fast asleep, and reached out her hand. She was about to nudge you awake. But the second her fingertips brushed your shoulder. Music. VZZ. A loud vibration suddenly echoed through the car's speakers. Your phone was connected to the Bluetooth on the center console screen. A few words flashed. Zuanlu Tech Su Yao. Your eyes snapped wide open. Before you could even grab your phone, the call answered itself. Hello, Mr. Liu. A woman's voice instantly filled the car. It was sharp and professional, yet possessed an indescribable magnetism, smart yet laced with a seductively lazy drawl. It's getting late. I'm not interrupting your rest, am I? Lin Wan practically snatched her hand back from your shoulder. Her eyes were glued to the console screen, her fingers subconsciously gripping the hem of her shirt. You cursed inwardly. Why does the assistant assigned by the system sound so sketchy? You let out a dry cough and sat up straight. Ahem. Oh, Assistant Sue, your music, still awake. Is there something you need? The voice on the other end carried a distinct smirk, sounding as if she were whispering right into your ear. Nothing major. I just wanted to remind you that everyone at the company is eagerly waiting for you. Oh, and one more thing, Mr. Liu. Su Yao's voice purred on. That tie you left at my place last time. I had it dry cleaned for you. Should I tie it for you when you come into the office? Or maybe I should drop it off at your place? Those words landed like a bomb, shocking both of you in the car. Lin Wan sat in the driver's seat, her face turning visibly pale. A tie left at her place. What kind of assistant is this? She came off as an extremely seductive woman. Meanwhile, you were so mortified your toes were curling hard enough to dig a 3-bedroom apartment into the floorboards. Why is this system assistant so incredibly dramatic? A soft giggle came through the speakers. I'm sorry. I'm just pulling your leg. Music, your custom-made exclusive tie has arrived. I left it right on your office desk. Terrified she was going to pull another stunt, you quickly cut her off, feigning authority. All right, Miss Sue, let's keep the jokes to a minimum next time. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. With that, you immediately hung up the phone. The car fell dead silent again. You turned your head only to meet Lin Wan's half-smiling, half-mocking gaze. Her eyes were filled with a hint of resentment. And who might this be? Lin Wan pointed at the screen, her voice dripping with jealousy. You let out a dry, awkward laugh. Just a personal assistant I hired recently. She has a pretty lively way of talking. Oh, she's very lively. All right. Lin Wan unbuckled her seatbelt and pushed the car door open. Well, then I won't get in your way. As for going home for the new year, we'll talk about it when the time comes. She slammed the car door shut and stormed into the apartment building without even looking back. Her retreating figure looked more than a little upset. You stared at the closed lobby door, letting out a long sigh of relief before starting the car again. You told the driver to change the destination, heading back to that tiny 10-square-meter apartment you called home. After all, you still had some important documents left there. Dragging your exhausted body, you trekked up to the 6th floor. Just as you dragged the cheap red and blue striped laundry bag from under the bed, footsteps sounded from out in the hallway. Creak, the door was pushed open. A middle-aged man stood in the doorway. It was your landlord, old Chen, leaning against the doorframe with a fake plastic smile. Lou, my boy, what exactly are you doing here? Packing up your stuff in the middle of the night. Don't tell me you're planning to skip out on these last 2 months of rent. You stopped what you were doing. Looking up at old Chen's face, which clearly showed he thought you would run away without paying. You felt a wave of exasperation. If this were yesterday, you probably would have tried to please him and begged for a few more days. But now, with 10 million sitting safely in your account, you weren't scared of anything. Music, you casually shoved your clothes into the bag. Uncle Chen, I changed jobs and it's just way too far from here. I have to move out tomorrow. Old Chen didn't believe you for a second. Changed jobs. Oh, Lou, if you're short on cash, just be honest with me. Cut the excuses. You shook your head. I'm seriously not running off. You pulled out your phone, opened the payment app, typed in a string of numbers, and then held the screen out for him to see. I owe you 7,000 for rent. Let's add 500 for utilities. And I'm throwing in an extra 5,000. Consider it a tip to buy yourself some nice tea. Music, thanks for putting up with me all this time. Ding. Old Chen's phone buzzed. He pulled it out and took one look, and his eyes practically popped out of his head. Over 12,000? Old Chen was completely stunned. Did you strike it rich, kid? Music, or did you get mixed up in some shady illegal business? If this money is dirty, I absolutely won't take it. You just grinned, zipping up the cheap laundry bag. Relax. Music, it's a completely legitimate job. A big corporation just gave me an advance on my salary. Old Chen stared at you for a long, hard moment. Finally, he let out a heavy sigh. All right, fine. Since you're moving up in the world, Music, your old uncle won't stand in your way. When you make it big out there, don't forget to come back and visit. You nodded, not saying another word. Carrying your slightly worn woven bag, you stepped out of the cramped little room that had confined you for the last 2 years. The next morning, you were no longer just a delivery rider weaving through traffic on an electric bike. The GPS destination, Suanlu Tech. Your car pulled into the tech park. A highly futuristic all-glass curtain wall office building came into view. Up on the roof, the word Suanlu Tech gleamed brightly in massive silver letters. You stared at the building, unable to stop yourself from swallowing hard. Just last week, you were delivering bubble tea right here. Back then, it was nothing but an abandoned empty lot. How did it suddenly turn into your very own company? The power of this system was utterly absurd. You looked in the rearview mirror and adjusted, Music, the business suit you rushed to buy the night before walking into the lobby. Excuse me, Music, sir. Please hold on a moment. A receptionist with flawless makeup politely blocked your path. Visitors need to scan the code and register over here first. Who are you here to see? Do you have an appointment? You froze for a second. Who am I, Music, here to see? I'm here to work. Just as you awkwardly rubbed your nose, a cool, crisp voice rang out from the elevator lobby. There's no need for him to register. Immediately after, the sharp clacking sound of high heels against the marble floor grew closer. The receptionist hastily stood at attention. Good morning, Assistant Sue. You turned around and your breath caught in your throat. The owner of that voice from last night stood right there in front of you. Suya was wearing a dark gray business skirt suit that perfectly hugged her tall, stunning, Music figure. Her long legs, covered in black sheer tights, were flawlessly slender. On that cold, sophisticated face of hers sat a tiny beauty mark right under her left eye. Combined with those half-smiling fox-like eyes, it broke through her strict, professional aura, releasing an incredibly captivating, seductive charm. Assistant Sue. You tried your hardest to make your voice sound like an experienced, confident CEO. That would be me. Su Yao stepped right up to you, bringing with her a whiff of cool, elegant perfume. Her gaze swept over you, bold and evaluative. Mr. Liu, you are even younger than I imagined and far more composed. You were sweating buckets inside, but you kept a straight face. Music, take me to my office. Su Yao turned to lead the way. The company's corporate structure was already fully established. All department staff were at their posts. You held 100% of the voting and controlling shares of this company. The elevator shot straight to the top floor. As the doors slid open, an unbelievably huge office unfolded before your eyes. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a sweeping view of the entire tech park. On the desk sat a fully upgraded iMac. Music, right next to it was an elegant gift box. It had to be that tie from last night. "This is your office." Su Yao walked over to the desk. "Is it to your satisfaction?" You walked up to the huge window and managed to squeeze out 2 words. "Not bad." "That's good." Su Yao raised her hand and checked her watch. "The department heads are pressing to hear your strategic plans for next year. What time should we schedule the meeting?" Strategic plans. Your heart skipped a beat. You don't know anything about strategic plans. You haven't even figured out what this damn company actually does. You turned around and met Su Yao's eyes. You were about to say another day, but you held the words back. "Tell them to come in this afternoon." You waved your hand, trying to look profound. "Let me sort through these files first." "Understood, Mr. Liu." Su Yao turned around and shut the door behind her. You instantly collapsed. You slumped heavily into the executive chair, wiping cold sweat from your forehead. "This is driving me crazy." Your eyes landed on the pile of documents on the desk. You shuffled through them for ages until you finally found something you could actually understand. The employee files. You casually flipped open the first page, and your mind instantly went blank. Chief Technology Officer Chun Mo, former Alibaba P10 elite programmer. He once single-handedly reconstructed the entire underlying logic for the Double 11 shopping festival. Music, hailed as a genius coder. The reason he joined, the cafeteria at his previous workplace didn't serve braised pork on Tuesdays. You swallowed hard and flipped to the second page. Marketing Director Linda Wong, lifelong honorary graduate of Harvard Business School. Former global partner at Goldman Sachs. She was behind economic revitalization plans for 3 small nations, though all of those projects failed. Music, reason for joining, her office on Wall Street faced the wrong direction. Your head was buzzing. Music, what kind of ridiculous reasons are these? Are these people here to work or endure some kind of heavenly trial? You quickly flipped through the rest of the pages. Page 3, Chief Operating Officer, former NASA data analyst. Reason for joining, she hated her previous boss. Page 4, Head of Logistics, former commander of a Middle Eastern mercenary unit. Reason for joining, he grew tired of killing people. At this point, you were completely speechless. That is until you flipped to the very last page. Special Assistant to the President, Su Yao. Her resume was absolutely impeccable. Dual master's degrees from Cambridge, former CEO of the Rothschild Family Foundation for Greater China. Reason for joining, she believes in the company's potential. You let out a long sigh of relief. Thank God. Finally, music, someone completely normal. But right at that moment, you suddenly spotted a line of faint glowing golden text at the very bottom of her file. Note, because the music host is an utter amateur, severely lacking management ability, and highly likely to drive the company to ruin, the system has assigned a top-tier support character to offer assistance. What the heck, system? Who are you calling an amateur? Music, you almost jumped out of your seat, but that line of faint golden text vanished instantly, as if erased away. You slammed the folder shut, the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end. This woman seemed the most ordinary at first glance. Music. But why did she feel like the strangest one of all? Just as you were panicking, your gaze landed on that gift box on the corner of the desk. Music, inside was a silk tie. You picked it up and fumbled to wrap it around your neck, only making a mess of it. Eventually you tied an impossible knot. Mr. Liu, it seems you are not very skilled at these trivial things. Su Yao had somehow walked up beside you, holding a cup of freshly brewed coffee. You let go of the tie, feeling a little awkward, and gave a dry cough. In the past, I prioritized efficiency. I rarely wore ties. I understand. Su Yao set the coffee down and walked straight toward you. The distance between you two instantly shrank to a dangerous range. So close that her perfume filled your senses completely. Your gaze was forced to rest on the silver brooch pinned to her collar. Lower your head a little, Mr. Liu. Su Yao's voice was incredibly soft, yet it left no room for argument, as if you were under a spell. You stiffly obeyed. Her slightly cool fingertips brushed your neck, raising goosebumps all over your skin. She patiently untangled the messy knot, while the pads of her fingers kept accidentally brushing against your bobbing Adam's apple. Your breath caught. Every muscle in your body tensed up. Damn it. This woman was definitely doing this on purpose. A tie is a man's second face. Suyao said as she tied a perfect knot, and, music, she whispered right next to your ear. At the meeting later, the employees will judge their boss based on these small details. You felt like helpless prey that had wandered straight into a spider's web, slowly being wrapped up by this spider queen arranged by the system. You screamed frantically inside your mind. Are you sure this is support? This is clearly a seductive trap designed to test my self-control. The system gave no response at all. All you felt was Suyao's fingers gently patting your chest, smoothing out the wrinkles on your suit. All done. She stepped back half a pace, a glint flickering in her eyes. Absolutely perfect, Mr. Liu. You tugged at your collar in the mirror, forcing yourself to look calm. Not bad craftsmanship. It is my job. Suyao turned sideways. It is, music, time. Everyone is waiting in the conference room. Mr. Liu, let's go. Exactly 3 p.m., conference room 1. You took a deep breath and stepped inside. Even though you were panicking wildly on the inside, this sharp suit paired with your cold expression made you look every inch the leader. Good afternoon, Mr. Liu. The crowd stood up to greet you. You walked straight to the head of the table, scanning the room, letting your gaze rest on every single face for exactly 2 seconds. This silent pressure trick you learned from TV dramas worked surprisingly well. Sit. You pulled out your chair and sat down. Suyao naturally stood right beside you. Time is precious. Let's get straight to business. You interlaced your fingers and placed them on the table, taking on the posture of a listener. Chen Mo was the first to speak up. Pushing up his glasses with frames as thick as bottle bottoms. He said, Mr. Liu, regarding our core business, the LSP Big Data Transport Architecture. I have a few technical bottlenecks I would like to seek your guidance on. Your heart skipped a beat. Sweat began to form on your palms. All of this was just made up by you before. God knows what these terms actually meant. Go ahead, you said, picking up your glass and hiding half your face behind a sip of water. Chen Mo pulled up the projector. The screen was covered in topology diagrams and code that looked like complete gibberish. Music, the current bottleneck is how we achieve a closed-loop instant delivery for nonlinear time nodes during cross-regional high-frequency routing. Essentially your LSP logic. I would like to know when you first conceived this architecture. What benchmark determined the core computing resource allocation? The conference room fell dead silent. Everyone stared straight at you. Your hand holding the glass trembled slightly. The only LSP logic you knew came from browsing short videos. Don't panic. As long as you aren't embarrassed, the embarrassment belongs to everyone else. You slowly set the glass down, stood up, and spoke in a deep, serious tone. Chen Mo. Yes, boss. You clasped your hands behind your back and strolled over to the projector screen, leaving everyone staring at your profoundly mysterious back. You ask me about dimensions. What do you think a dimension truly is? Chen Mo froze on the spot. Space, time, or, music, data volume? You let out a soft chuckle and pointed a finger toward him. It seems your depth of understanding still falls short. Since that is the case, allow me to break it down for you. You deliberately slowed your speech, making every syllable sound carefully thought through. This bottleneck you mentioned is indeed a bottleneck. But when we look at a problem, we cannot only focus on the bottleneck itself. We have to find the leverage point behind it. Seeing no one dare challenge you, you grew bolder. The core of this so-called LSP architecture has nothing to do with computing power at all. It is about figuring out exactly what we aim to accomplish. Because if we don't know our goal, even if we succeed, it will be completely meaningless. You were completely improvising now. It works the same way with these non-linear time nodes. This is exactly what we need to grasp. It's like today exists within yesterday. The moment you finished speaking, Chen Mo began muttering to himself. Yesterday contains today. Breaking free from the restraints of linear timelines, treating time as dynamically allocated resources. Music, I understand now, boss. You were hinting that we should prioritize solving latency issues. Your eye twitched violently. How did he actually find reasonable meaning in that nonsense? Suppressing the absurd feelings surging inside you. You nodded calmly, putting on the proud expression of a mentor watching his student make progress. Good insight. Just remember, we need to guarantee thorough execution. Let us combine all our strengths and push forward to resolve this matter to a brand new level.